cracking night, a terrific atmosphere here inside Rugby Park. The teams are out and ready to go. It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action as Kilmarnock against Hearts for a place in the semi-finals of the League Cup with Cammy Bell, Lee McCullough and Rob McLean.
Cheers, Kenny. Over 2 nights, 8 teams looking to book a trip to Mount Florida, Hampden Park, and the Viaplay Cup semi-finals. A big opportunity. All starts here at Rugby Park, and you do feel the pressure mounting at the moment for Hearts. Pressure on both these teams, of course, but Kilmarnock have made a pretty solid start to the season, and when you've beaten both Rangers and Celtic in the first couple of months, you definitely have a little bit of credit in the bank at that stage, and looking to take another step further, looking for another big scalp tonight. If they can knock Hearts out of the competition, and were that to happen, then you do think that serious questions are starting to be asked about Stephen Naismith and the management team here, whoever happens to be the manager this particular week. It is him on the touchline with his arms crossed, focused on the centre circle and just about ready to go. He's exchanged a handshake with Derek McInnes and just about all set to kick off here at Rugby Park. A Hearts team showing 3 changes from the one which lost in Paisley at the weekend. And Kilmarnock probably would have been same again had Marley Watkins not been injured. And it's David Watson, the teenager, into the midfield. And Kilmarnock will come into this with a lot of belief. When you've beaten both the Old Firm here, then no need to fear anyone. McGuinness with a hook shot forward, immediately cleared by Kent. Hearts looking to threaten for the first time down the left-hand side. But any potential problem was quickly eased. The 2 teams led by the 2 number 9s, Kyle Vassell leading out Kilmarnock, and Lawrence Shankland without Liam Boyce tonight as a strike threat. He's on the bench. Benny Beningame is among the substitutes as well. Those 2 presumably being dealt with carefully at this stage as they come back from injury. And a free kick goes against Shankland for being a little bit over physical. He's looked to keep the ball in. It was being ushered behind until his challenge. It will be a free kick for Kilmarnock to be taken by Will Dennis, just a few yards shy of that byline. How big a night, Lee McCullough, for Stephen Naismith?
Yeah, I think it's massive tonight. In my opinion, they just need to go through. It doesn't really matter how they go through, but I think it's so important for the fans and the club and himself that the team get through. So just obviously we're only 2 minutes into the game, but Hearts going very, very direct early on into Shankland and playing off second balls.
George Grant tucked in behind him in the number 10 position at the moment. Alan Forrest left-hand side, Kenneth Vargas on the right, and it is Forrest and Kingsley with a cross ball from the left-hand side, knocked down. Big chance for Shankland round about the penalty spot. Disappointed that he didn't get a serious shot in on goal, and he looks down accusingly at the playing surface. But he's well known for snapping up even half chances, and that one certainly qualified in the opening minutes of this game for the Hearts skipper.
Yeah, for me that was a half chance, especially the quality that Lawrence Shankland's got. Half volley just doesn't connect with it at all, and he'll be disappointed when he looks back at that, because it was a half chance to get a shot on target early in the game.
Just scuffed it, Lee.
Yeah, I think his standing foot slipped a little bit. He was maybe a little bit behind him, but
here he is again, about 40 yards out. We've seen him doing it from longer range.
He's capable. He's very, very capable. Going back to his first chance, yes, it's a chance because it's Lawrence, and with that shot there, that must have been 30 yards out. He's connected with it, technically absolutely brilliant, and it just went wide of the right-hand post. But Lawrence is a tremendous guy to have round about the dressing room. He's a great trainer, and as the goals that he's scoring proves, he's an unbelievable football player.
Here come Kilmarnock with Danny Armstrong an obvious threat to Hearts. Starting off on the right-hand side, Matty Kennedy on the left. Those two can switch, of course. And the ball is out for a throw-in far side, close to the halfway line. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0. The League Cup quarter-finals with Hibs against St Mirren tomorrow night, Ross County, Aberdeen, Rangers against Livingston. 4 ties that are pretty tough to call. You would make Rangers favourites against Livingston tomorrow night, but they're hardly winning with great ease at the moment, Cammy. So I guess there's a question mark over all 4.
Yeah, there is. I think they're all in the balance, and Livingston will go there and try and put real pressure on Rangers tomorrow night. It's a tie that Rangers absolutely need to get through, but it's a sticky one as well. They've not been playing well, but it's the same as Hearts here. They just need to get through the tie. But yeah, listen, they're all in the balance for me.
Free kick for Hearts here, 15 yards inside the Kilmarnock half, left-hand side. In it comes, the big lads are forward, but Kilmarnock deal with that pretty comfortably. Here come Hearts again with Vargas in possession, right-hand side. Kingsley is helping him out down that flank, having stayed up after the set piece. Now it's Devlin threading a pass through for Toby Sibic, right-hand side. Good feet from Sibic, but the sting taken out of his cross by Robbie Dees. Hearts still have the ball. Heavy hit pass back towards Devlin from Sibic. Cammy Devlin did really well, but Hearts are still in a little bit of trouble here as they try to reassemble. David Watson standing on the ball in the centre circle takes a little bit of the pressure off. And the ball is back with Kai Rolls, left side of central defence, up to Alan Forrest. And out to Kingsley, left-hand side. This time a long ball from Rolls, looking for Vargas. Headed away by Dees. Sibic nicking possession. It was untidy from Kyle McGuinness. He coughed up possession there a little bit too readily. Hearts enjoying plenty of the ball at this stage on the halfway line. Kent to Rolls. Kingsley to his left. Back it goes though to Frankie Kent. Just waiting for the moment, the two centre-backs to get a forward pass up to Shankland, and it's back with Rolls again to Forrest on the touchline, stumbling, and the ball goes out for a throw-in. It will be Hearts' ball, and it is midway inside the Kilmarnock half. Still goalless here at Rugby Park.
I think Hearts, Rob, have started slightly better. They were going direct early on, and they've managed just to get the ball down a couple of passing phases.
And the ball slipped through for Shankland from the edge of the area. It just skidded off the pitch and through to Will Dennis. The idea was good, not quite the execution, but he's looking a live threat in these opening stages, Shankland, as you expect him to be a real focus for Hearts when they go forward.
Yeah, just going back to my point, I think Hearts have been a better team territorially. I think they're playing the game in the opposition half. They're getting the ball forward quickly, playing the opposition half, getting the ball wide and trying to get crosses in the box.
Dropping deep, Shankland to pick up possession, linking with Nieuwenhof. In the midfield, back it goes to Rolls, and further back still to Xander Clark in goal. Kilmarnock haven't got anywhere near Clark so far in the opening 7 minutes or so. It's a poor kick out from the goalkeeper. Straight to Matty Kennedy, good feet from him, and he's sprinting down the left side. Sibic's challenge knocks him over and takes the sting out of the cross ball as well. Hearts get it clear. It's the first real flurry of attacking play from Kilmarnock, and they've regained possession in the midfield. Brad Lyons and Watson, and final ball lacking from Armstrong, and Hearts now can counter. Back goes McGuinness to regain the ball for Kilmarnock. Now it's Armstrong looking to switch it from the right side. His cross-field ball was blocked, but Kilmarnock still have it, and that's a lovely ball out to the left-hand side for Kennedy. Robbie Dees, though, took his eye off it, and the ball goes out just underneath us for a throw. 0-0 at Rugby Park so far. 8 minutes gone. Kilmarnock against Hearts.
Yeah, Kilmarnock haven't really got going yet. They had a little flurry there of the ball, but again, what I would say is Kilmarnock, when they drop into that 4-5-1, they're comfortable within that shape and allowing Hearts to have possession as long as it's in front of them and they can see the ball. They're quite comfortable. They've done it against Celtic and Rangers here this season, and allowing them to have the ball and asking them to break them down. So yeah, they'll be comfortable enough in the game so far.
Lovely turn from Kyle Vassell, strengthened the ball too, until it was nicked away from him by Nieuwenhof. Caleb Nieuwenhof, the Australian central midfielder. Peter Haring's on the bench. Long ball up for Vassell. Tried to pluck that out of the air on his left boot. Nicked away by Sibic. Throw in quickly taken by Dees for Kilmarnock, left-hand side to Matty Kennedy. Kennedy goes back to find a little bit of room, and he fires through a very good pass in for Vassell. It just had a little bit too much pace on it, and Kilmarnock's number 9 couldn't control it, but that was an incisive pass from Kennedy.
Great play for Kennedy there. He's just half turn, he's tried to fizz the ball through at McGuinness, and just 1 yard to the side of McGuinness, or he was potentially in there. Matty Kennedy has been a fantastic signing and a great player. Am I right in saying, Cammy, he came through the youth system at Kilmarnock?
Yeah, he didn't, and he got moved to Everton.
And I think he's had a new lease of life since coming here, because he was at Aberdeen and not really featuring too much, but he's central to what Derek McInnes is trying to do here, as Hearts attack down the left, and it's successfully broken up, and now Kilmarnock look to do the same thing in the opposite direction, and the ball is back with Kennedy, left-hand side to Watson. Back with number 10, Matty Kennedy again. He chips it forward. Watson after it, left side of the box. Fended away. Kilmarnock have it again with Kennedy. Tries to jink in between a couple of players. Brilliant from Matty Kennedy. What a save from Xander Clark. Well, he prevents what would have been a wonder goal from Kilmarnock's number 10.
That man again, Rob, he's box of tricks. He skips past 2, and I think Cammy Devlin actually pulls out of the challenge. I think he's scared to dangle a leg to give away a penalty there. But brilliant, and by the way, great save by Xander Clark.
Yeah, fantastic save from Xander, but it all starts with Brad Lyons. Switch of play, he's done that 2 or 3 times already and identified Matty holding his whip here, and great feet from him and a brilliant save from Xander.
Corner kick, Kilmarnock, right-hand side, looking to make a breakthrough in the 11th minute. Here comes the corner kick, low, arrowed in at the near post, needed more height on it from Armstrong. It doesn't get beyond the cluster of Hearts players at the near post. It's back on halfway with McGuinness for the home team, who fires it again across to Kennedy. Kennedy turns inside Nieuwenhof. It's another great run from Matty Kennedy. What a start to the game he's having. He just couldn't find the cross ball that set something up for the home team. But just moments ago, he could have been scoring one of the goals of the season, even at this early stage, were it not for a terrific save from Clark. Yeah,
it was fantastic play. He just jinked his way past 1 and 2 players and then got in a position, and Xander Clark's got his angles spot on. He's made a brilliant save to keep the scoreline at 0-0 at the moment, but you can see the signs of intent. Get the ball out to Matty Kennedy, 1v1, they've done it straight away again there, and he'll be full of confidence at this moment in time.
Took them a while, Kilmarnock, to get into the final third, but when they did do, Lee, they've had some impact, and they now at the moment look likely, the team may be most likely to make the breakthrough.
Yeah, they've come into the game, as you say, the last couple of minutes, and it's been that switch of play, isolate Kennedy, sometimes with Sibic, sometimes with Kent, having to drift out wide, and he's capable of getting past players like they're not even there, and he's shown that, and he's hit the target with his shot. Great composure.
Back goes Stuart Finlay, Lee, to head the ball back to his goalkeeper.
Xander's produced a great save, but they're just starting to creep into the game a little bit more, Kilmarnock now, with Hearts maybe just dropping back into a lower block. Joe
Wright and Lewis Mayo combining as Kilmarnock just work it along the back line. Stuart Finlay with the big diagonal for Armstrong's header. It's a really good header too. He was hanging in the air for that one, down to Vassell, now for Armstrong on the byline, and he lifts it into the middle. It's beyond Kennedy, but it was a chance for McGuinness in behind him. Kennedy left it, and Kyle McGuinness couldn't get control of it, and that was beautifully built up by Kilmarnock, and again it was just asking for the finish. Here comes the game racing in the other direction, and it's Shankland who gets a shot away just inside the box and flying in to block it. What a bit of defending that was from teenager David Watson.
Brilliant, that's what Watson brings, full of energy. It was a great counter-attack for Hearts there. And again, Shanks looking to get his shots away. That's his third attempt at goal already, and we're only 13 minutes into the game.
It really was terrific football going in the other direction from Kilmarnock, and McGuinness disappointed that he couldn't get a meaningful effort in on goal as the ball dropped so invitingly. And now down at the other end, corner kick. George Grant rolls it along the deck from the corner kick, looking for Kenneth Vargas, the Costa Rican, to get a shot at goal. He was shut down pretty quickly, and the ball flashes well wide.
Yeah, Danny Armstrong was well switched on there. It was obviously one they worked on the training pitch, a short ball to the front post and try and get the shot away, but Danny Armstrong was well aware of that one and managed to put enough pressure on that he couldn't connect properly. But again, go back to Kilmarnock attacking, they hold their width. Danny Armstrong and Mike Kennedy, they basically stand on the touchline when the ball's on either side and make it so difficult for Hearts. The defenders don't want to go out there and mark them, but that's when their quality can show if they can get them on the ball 1v1.
Down goes Kyle Vassell, and Kilmarnock have got themselves a free kick 25 yards out. He spun away from his marker there. He was clearly taken out. Wasn't a tough decision, and this could be interesting, the set play, as Kilmarnock look to hit the front.
Seen Danny Armstrong put this in the back of the net from a similar sort of distance, so Sander Clark will need to be on his toes here.
Kennedy's over it, Armstrong's over it. It's well right of centre this. It is going to favour the left foot of Armstrong. And Kilmarnock will feel already they've had the sort of chances that could have seen them ahead in the game. Can they edge themselves in front here? Stephen McLean making sure he's happy that the wall is in the right place. A blast of his whistle. Here comes the free kick. It is Armstrong, but it was always going to need too much to get it down in time to be any threat at all to Sander Clark. A little bit of an anti-climax. I think we were probably expecting better there from Danny Armstrong, well off target.
Yeah, we've seen him do it before. He just got too much on it and didn't get the dip on it. It maybe went about 5-10 yards over the bar, but you can see what he was attempting to do. He's trying to hit the top of the ball and get the dip over the wall. He's just unlucky there.
You were talking about the wide areas being a crucial aspect of the game tonight, Lee, and certainly in Armstrong and Kennedy, Kilmarnock have got two players looking as if they're high on confidence.
Yeah, two top quality players. They look lively, and as I mentioned before, maybe with Sibic coming in, if you can get past him a couple of times, maybe his head will go down. Although he's equipped himself well so far in the match. But just going back to the point that Cammy was making about Armstrong Kennedy saying wide, it makes your life easier if you're a central midfield player for Kilmarnock, because you know if you're under pressure you can just take a touch and play one of the passes out wide, so it makes it's a better understanding to the team.
Sibic's throw for Hearts down the right hand side. Vargas tries to get hold of it. Now it's Shanklin firing it forward for Forrest, touching it back to Grant, right hand side on the touchline. One of the three changes to the Hearts team. He was wanting it back rather than a hopeful ball played forward, which was what actually happened. But Hearts do manage to retain possession. Cammy Devlin to Kai Rolls, the two Australians. And of course Nieuwenhof in the midfield makes it 3. A strong Aussie tinge to this Hearts team. A Hearts team which has lost 5 of the last 6 games. And if you look at all competitions since the start of the season, they've won 4 out of 11, and they set their standards higher than that. Underway again with Rolls. Squaring it for Frankie Kent. Alongside and in it right back for the injured Atkinson is Sibic. Good ball over the top of Dees, but it was good cover in behind him too. Given away by Joe Wright. Poor pass straight at Cammy Devlin. He can set something up here as he rolled it through. There are 2 Hearts players on the deck at the moment. One of them was Grant, and in the end it's going to be a free kick to Kilmarnock.
Yeah, it was slack play. I think it was Mayo who played the pass straight to him. really slack, put his team under pressure. They managed to get back and recover. Hearts kind of got in the way of each other, the two players there going for the ball, and it's ended up a free kick for Kilmarnock, but slack play.
The ball's back with Will Dennis, the Kilmarnock keeper, on loan from Bournemouth, up for Vassell. What a good target man he is. So strong when the ball comes his way. Took it down his chest, and he was immediately spinning away from the Hearts' defensive setup. And the ball has gone out for a throw-in just underneath us, left-hand side. Kennedy couldn't keep it in for Kilmarnock this time. It's gone out for another throw-in for Toby Sibic to take. Behind him, the top deck of the stand behind Zander Clark is packed out with Hearts supporters, hoping for the best, but with that banner sending out their message at the moment, the concerns they have about the club. All that could be sorted out with the right result tonight if Hearts can claim a place in the League Cup semi-finals. Rolls again in possession, slowing it right down. Nieuwenhof touches the ball back to Kent. Still deep inside their own half, Hearts. Sibic to Kent, looking for a forward pass, not too much happening, and back it goes in the end to Zander Clark. Keeping the ball, going nowhere, still in possession of it. Devlin making himself available as it's played up now to Shanklin. Devlin to Kingsley. Kilmarnock working hard at closing down the space and offering few opportunities. It's the diagonal now from Rolls in the direction of Vargas, headed away by Dees, and out it goes.
I think that was one of the criticisms that was applied to the Hearts team, and possibly last season as well, when I was there, so I'm taking a little bit of responsibility for this, is the possession stats were quite high, but they're not progressing into the final third, so they're not passing through the third, so it's just passing for the sake of passing it.
Forrest works the 1-2 with Kingsley. He's on the byline and he fires it in, and it's a good defensive block. And I think it's taken its last touch off a Hearts player. It's going to be a goal kick. That was a good exchange down the left-hand side. Just needed a better final ball from Forrest.
Yeah, Vial cut in 1-2, good play. He's unlucky because it's the defender's blocked it and it's just come back off him and went out for a goal kick. But get back to my point about the possession stats being high compared to the chances created. The possession's really high and the chances created are really low for Hearts. And again, I'll go back to last year as well, and I completely agree with them. At times when this game started, Hearts are passing the ball in their own defensive third and not really going anywhere. And when they get up in the attacking third, it's usually from a direct ball, and then they're feeding off second balls. So I think that it's like two different styles in the one team, and that's not a criticism. It's probably been the criticism for the last 2 years.
I think Kilmarnock will be happy with that as well, Lee. That, again, you're right, they played 20-30 passes there and got nowhere. They end up going back to Zander Clark, actually. And Kilmarnock have got a really good shape when they're defending as well, so they'll make it hard for Hearts to break them down.
Yeah, spot on.
Down the left side goes Stephen Kingsley. Positive move. And a good challenge by Mayo. And the ball is out for a Hearts throw in, in line with the edge of the box, left-hand side. In it comes from Devlin. Not exactly the most searching ball into the box you've ever seen. Easily cleared by Kilmarnock. And nothing serious coming the way of Will Dennis so far in the Kilmarnock goal. Hearts will look to do something about that. But defending pretty solidly so far, the home team. One sparkling save so far produced by Zander Clark to deny Matty Kennedy after he'd beaten maybe 3 Hearts defenders, jinking his way in off the left-hand side. Brilliant play from him, and it wasn't a bad effort at goal. He caught the shot really strongly, and flying across to his left to make the save was Clark to keep this game goalless. Forward it goes for Hearts to Vargas. Support from Grant. George Grant's ball into the middle, really good cross ball. And that might just have had own goal written all over it, you thought, for a second there.
It was a great ball in, I think, in between the goalkeeper and defender. I think there was too much whip on it for the goalkeeper to come and get it, and the defenders tried to deal with it. Got a little bit lucky, and it went back to the goalie. But For me, Alan Forrest is coming in for the back post area. It was in the middle of the goals. He's got to gamble and dart in front of that defender.
It was Joe Wright who had a swing at it as it was coming in from Grant into a great area from George Grant.
Yeah.
And just for a moment, he looked rather concerned about where that was going to end up.
It was a brilliant ball in first and foremost, but I think Joe Wright's actually went with his wrong foot. I think he should have just swung his left and cleared it. He's trying to get his right and nearly got it all wrong, and thankfully it fell into Will Dennis's hands.
We're past the midway point in the first half on BBC Radio Scotland. Kilmarnock nil, Hearts nil in the Viaplay Cup quarter-finals. Quarter-final number 1 tonight. The other 3 will be played tomorrow night, then the draw for the semi-finals. And of course, semi-finals means Hampden Park for 4 of the 8. It's going to be a free kick just about on the halfway line for the home team. Stuart Finlay in a second spell with the club, outstanding in his first spell. He squares it to Wright, who steps forward, gives the ball to Mayo. Mayo plays it up towards Watson. Headed away by Rolls. And Kilmarnock start again in the centre circle with Findlay, who's looking for a pass towards Lyons. Didn't really make it happen there. Now went back to the goalkeeper. Now Dees with a header forward, bouncing towards the touchline, left-hand side. Kennedy tries to get there, but he had the big barrier of Toby Sibic in the way. It's gone out for a Kilmarnock throw. Midway inside the Hearts half, left-hand side. A Kilmarnock team who've lost only twice in 11 games this season. Having survived last season, looking to do a whole lot more this campaign, and every indication that could happen this season, bearing in mind the start they've made. Down the side again goes Kennedy. Sliding in was Devlin to knock the ball out of play. We'll see what develops from this, and then we'll head for Hampden to get an update on Scotland against Belgium.
Long throw for Watson, is it?
It's looking like it.
Yeah.
He's back as far as he can get here to give him the maximum run up. In it comes from Watson, and the ball is headed behind. Tame ending after the long throw. It stays 0-0 here between Kilmarnock and Hearts. So let's find out about that Women's Nations League match at Hampden. Scotland against Belgium. Amy.
Hello, Rob. Yes, as equally disappointing in the final third as it seems to be at Rugby Park as here at Hampden. Scotland have been the more dominant of the two sides. We're 25 minutes in. It's just breaking down in that final third. It seems the flanks are getting used well, which we know they would. Claire Emsley and Kirsty Hansen have been bright. Christy Grimshaw had a cracking opportunity. It was a little bit of a melee in the box. It just sort of falls to her inside the 6-yard box, but can't quite get enough on it to trouble Belgium. And then the ricochet off the second effort isn't quite on target either, just as another free kick is whipped in and the Belgian keeper smothers. The real moment of note here that is worth keeping a wee eye on is Caroline Weir has had to go off injured. She picked up a rather innocuous one. She just sort of stretched for a ball, and that trailing leg, you could see she was in a little bit of agony. She went off, managed to come back on, but lasted only a minute or so. So Amy Rogers is on for her first outing at Hampden, only her second cap. But just again, Scotland pressing high, Claire Emsley getting right up there, and then the offside flag is up. So not too much happening in the goal mouth area, as it seems to be the case at Rugby Park too.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, goalless here. But just while Amy was updating us there on what was happening at Hampden, we just saw Kilmarnock launching up a long ball for Kyle Vassell. And it's not a bad option for them at all, because he is going to give it his best shot. And when he does, he is one major handful for both Kent and Rolls in the middle of the Hearts defence. He's got the touch, he's got the power, and giving plenty of indications already that he can do some damage, Cammy.
Yeah, and I think the warning signs will be there now for Kilmarnock to play the ball up to him, because Kent got brushed off the ball as if he wasn't there from Vassell. For me, it was poor defending and allowed him in. I think he actually slipped a little bit before he could try and get his shot away, but that for me is a ball that will be going up a lot more after that sort of warning sign there.
Clearing for Kilmarnock was Will Dennis. He was nearer the corner flag than he was his own goal, but he got a good contact on it as Hearts tried to find a way through. But Killie have looked pretty solid so far defensively. And the ball's back with Kent, and alongside him is Sibic, almost on the halfway line, right-hand side. For Hearts, Nieuwenhof. Back with Frankie Kent. Again, slowing it down, then hitting the long ball over the top of Dees. Cleared by Robbie Dees, as Grant couldn't really get great control of it. Scrapping for the ball in the midfield was Watson. Kilmarnock have got a free kick. There was a handball there as the midst of that midfield scuffle.
I think the game's got a little bit scrappy in the last couple of minutes. Just a lot of headers, a lot of 50-50s. Both teams fighting for territory, and there's nobody's really got their foot in the ball and passed it about. It's been up in the air a lot, but we might have a chance here with this set play.
I don't think either side's got a grip of the game yet. I think Hearts will be really disappointed. I don't think they've had a shot on target yet with 30 minutes in the game, so they'll be disappointed so far. And Kilmarnock are threatening more than Hearts.
Armstrong with the free kick for Kilmarnock. Hearts shape up pretty solidly defensively, and as the ball spins out to the touchline, Forrest got a bit confused as to what he was trying to do there, and it's back with Killie, who try to work it down the right side. But it continues to be pretty scrappy stuff. Not the beautiful game at the moment, and it did look as if the ball had crossed the goal line there. But here come Kilmarnock, looking to carve out an opportunity right on the half hour. Broken up by Sibic, who plays an early ball for Shankland. Back for Sibic, but it's good defending from Kilmarnock. And then Kennedy got lucky as he tried to play a pass in field, which was intercepted. In the end, Killie do get the ball clear with Robbie Dees launching it down the left-hand side. It's looking at the moment as if a mistake might lead to the opening goal rather than a moment of magic. We have had one memorable moment already in this first half, but certainly the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes have been pretty drab. It's a match that both these teams want to win, and it's one neither want to lose, and that is showing itself at times here as Lewis Mayo does the defending against Alan Forrest, and the ball goes out off the Hearts winger, and it will be a Killie throw midway inside their own half. 0-0 between Kilmarnock and Hearts on BBC Radio Scotland.
Yeah, it has. It's went a little bit scrappy, very cagey from both sides. Nobody's really wanting to get the ball down. Kilmarnock have had spells where they've went and tried to play it wide to Armstrong and Kennedy. They've went away from that actually the last 5 or 6 minutes. But they'll be happy with the way they've played in this first half. Again, I think they've defended really well. They've not really been threatened at the back. So they'll be comfortable where they are in this first half so far.
I think Kilmarnock would like to get Matty Kennedy on the ball a bit more, because when he's had it, he has looked very dangerous, but he hasn't really seen too much possession of late. At the moment, Killie working it down the right, Armstrong to the byline, and well, when he's getting it wrong, you know that the game generally has gone a little bit downhill. He tried to twist away to the byline to get his ball in, but he just overran it and the ball went behind for the goal kick. Yeah,
the quality of the game's went down the last 5, arguably 10 minutes, but I think when you've got Armstrong and Kennedy on the pitch, who you're rightly saying haven't had much of the ball apart from just Eddie ran it out the pitch, they're match winners, and that's when the Kilmarnock players need to realise we need to get the ball to these guys as quickly as possible.
George Grant attacking down the left-hand side for Hearts. He tried to turn inside between two Kilmarnock players, went down and looked up pleadingly towards Stephen McLean, who gave him the right decision. Free kick for Hearts out on the left-hand side. Grant will take it.
A chance here for Hearts. When you look at the boys that they've got, get into the box, you've got Kingsley, Rowles, Kent, Shanklin,
Kingsley, yeah,
Sibic.
Yeah.
They've got presence there, so this could be a chance. In swinging delivery, usually George Grant gets it on the money. So let's see how we go.
Will Dennis in goal with little to do so far. Is he going to be called into action here? The free kick, about 10 yards in from the touchline, left-hand side. Grant plays it in, and again it's well defended by Kilmarnock. They've dealt with pretty much everything that's been thrown at them so far. The ball in the end, though, is spun behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, it was a good ball in. It was in a really good area, good pace in it. I think it was Joe Wright that ended up getting the header away for Kilmarnock. Good header, defensive header, so that managed to clear the danger for the moment.
So after the free kick comes the corner kick. Another set-piece opportunity for Stephen Naismith's team to try to get themselves in front. Goalless so far at Rugby Park on BBC Radio Scotland. Stephen McLean having one of those pointless discussions with a couple of players jostling for room inside the penalty box. And after the chat, they're back to same again. This corner kick on the right side. Sooner or later. Well, he's just holding things up.
A VAR check
for
maybe?
the moment. Yep.
A check, yeah.
No.
End of VAR check. Here comes the corner. Played in by Grant, lots of pace on it, good delivery, the ball spins high, and out comes Will Dennis, confident, handling, little mini juggle, but he always looked pretty confident that he was grabbing that, and he fires it down the middle for what a ball for Kyle Vassell, and he was just looking for a bit of backspin on it there to hold up for Killy's number 9. It just bounced away from him.
Yeah, I think you should be talking about this, Cammy, but from my point of view, Dennis comes out, collects, and he's about a yard away from hitting pass of the season.
Kingsley down the left side for Hearts, plays it in towards Vargas. Again, it's well dealt with. It was Matty Kennedy tucking back inside to get that ball away for Kilmarnock. Yeah, that was pinpoint, wasn't it, from the goalkeeper, Cammy?
Yeah, it was a brilliant take as well, because he was under pressure. Ball popped up in the air, and he seen Vassell on his way, and he just absolutely.
Well, that's a great header from Forrest to almost get Vargas in. The offside flag has gone up.
Yeah, he fired it in, and I think if that's a summer's day, that holds up perfectly, and Vassell's one-on-one with Clark, so yeah, it just shows you the pace of Vassell as well. He moved on very, very well, and they'll look for that ball over the top. Pretty sure they'll do that more in this first half.
Yeah, he was disappointed, the Kilmarnock captain, as the bounce took the ball away from him. Not too far away from being spot on from the goalkeeper. We're inside the last 10 minutes of the first half at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0. These two playing for a place at Hampden in the semis, as Dennis plays it forward from the free kick. The ball pinging around. And it's Kennedy now running again at the Hearts defence, more central this time, and he took a bit of stopping, that's for sure. Down goes Vargas, who looked to be caught by the challenge as the ball was worked clear of that Hearts penalty box. He's looked pretty handy, Vargas, not particularly in this game, but there was that shot against Aberdeen, which just about broke the crossbar the other week.
Yeah, I think he's been one of the plus points of the signings that have come in. He's got pace to burn. I think he's probably the one that they've looked to replace Ginnelly with his pace. He plays on the right. Arguably, I don't know if he can play up front or not, but Ginnelly finished the season on fire last season, and that's how he got his move.
Yeah, they miss him badly, Lee, don't they?
Yeah, I believe they do. Blistering pace, great boy in about the dressing room. Bit of character, really hard working, and it came off of the boys. So he'd have been a tough one to replace, but I think Joe Savage has got that one spot on by the looks of it, regarding Vargas coming in to replace him.
And lack of pace is criticism that's thrown pretty regularly at the moment against Hearts, Cammy.
Yeah, it is, and for me it's kind of shown. They look very disjointed in this first half. I don't think they've got going. The first 5 minutes they were controlling possession and found their way into the game, but they've not hurt Kilmarnock at all. I don't think they've had a shot on target yet, and that's really disappointing for a Hearts side coming to Rugby Park.
Here goes Forrest. He does have pace down the left-hand side, but he can't find the pass to pick out George Grant. And again, Hearts really pretty much playing into Kilmarnock's hands defensively, and they're looking solid and comfortable and confident at the moment at the back. Kilmarnock and they do carry a threat down at the other end. Vargas against Dees, not having any great joy against the former Inverness Cali Thistle defender. Kennedy takes the throw, he's in a hurry to find Vassell. Now Watson laying the ball back, dangerous interception by Grant up towards the edge of the area. Devlin on his left foot, good block on the shot, took the sting out of it, and it trundles through in the end to Will Dennis. And that's the story of the first half for Hearts, who get up towards that final third and then really don't carry too much threat.
Just petered out the attack there, sorry, yeah. Rob.
No, here comes Nieuwenhof with a good driving run down the middle. That was much more positive from him. And the ball broke the way of Forrest, but there was real hunger among Kilmarnock's players to get that back. Working the 1-2 was Lawrence Shankland, and the ball is tucked in the back of the net, and it's George Grant who finds the finish. They've got nowhere near Will Dennis in this first half, and with their first serious effort on goal, Hearts score. It's Grant, and it's 1-0.
What a goal, Rob. Great pass into Shanks' feet. He's controlled it first time right into the path of the oncoming Grant it was, and it's what a composed finish from about 23 yards into the corner. Dennis has no chance, and that is the first shot on target of the match, I believe, never mind just for Hearts. So it just shows you it's not been the best first half, but Stephen Naismith will be absolutely delighted. 39 minutes gone, 1-0 up.
Yeah, it's a brilliant goal. It starts with Rolls. He gets in front of Vassell and then drives forward and plays that pass into Shanks, and I think it's a brilliant layoff, perfect touch, and what a pass finish from Grant right into the corner. Will Dennis absolutely no chance.
And the Hearts fans behind Xander Clark's goal now making plenty of noise. They would have been concerned at the way this game was going, but it's shots on target 1, goals 1 for Hearts, and it was a chance that was clinically taken by Grant, who played the 1-2 with Shankland and then just picked his spot. Here comes Kilmarnock in response. Watson down the left-hand side, cuts it back. It's a great ball into the middle from Robbie Dees. From just about the corner of the penalty box, he just clipped it up to the back post. It was asking for the finish, but it flashes wide.
Yeah, another good bit of play down this left-hand side, and I think Robbie Dees does everything he can. He can only guide it into that far corner for somebody to hopefully gamble. Nobody does gamble. You're looking for Danny Armstrong to get in at that back post to try and tap in. He's not there, and it's another chance that goes a-begging for Kilmarnock.
In the 42nd minute, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. And what impact will that have on the team from Tynecastle? Bad challenge on McGuinness by Devlin. Kyle McGuinness flicked it on and he was clattered by the Australian midfielder, and I think he's got some blood and a cut on his head, so he'll need to get that mopped up before we continue.
Yeah, it was a bad one there. I think Cammy just mistimed it slightly. He's not one of the players, he's not got a bad bone in his body, but I think it was quite a bad one. Kyle McGuinness wins the header, and Devlin just comes in and headers the back of his head, and it looks like a pretty big gash in his head just now. So I don't know if he'll be. Hopefully he's okay to carry on.
I think Devlin's taking a dunt as well. I think belatedly he's rubbing the back of his head. Yeah, it was a fair old challenge. He was late. I wondered whether that was a yellow card, to be honest.
Yeah, listen, I think I agree with Lee. I think it's just he's went into the challenge, he's slightly late. They're both going for the ball. I don't think there's any malice in it at all. And he's caught him in the head. I don't think it's worth showing a yellow card in that incident. But hopefully Kyle McGuinness can get patched up and back on the pitch.
I'm talking about the impact, Lee, that will have on the Hearts team. That's got to give them a big lift. And you wonder too about Kilmarnock, who've been pretty comfortable and controlled, and there hasn't really, up till the goal, it really wasn't a serious threat from Hearts, and suddenly they find themselves 1 down.
Yeah, the game's all about confidence, and I think that'll give the Hearts boys a lift. Obviously getting 1-0 up, especially with the recent form, and I'll go back to the start of the season where I think Stephen knows, the fans know, the players know, they've just underperformed, let's say. But if they go and grind it out tonight, which I use the word grind because so far, 44 minutes into the game, it's been a little bit stop-start and a little bit messy and 50-50s and the ball in there a lot. But if Hearts go through and continue this, they'll be wanting to build that momentum. That's the biggest thing. But there's a long, long way to go in this game, and you can never say, look at Kilmarnock at the weekend, although they conceded the late equaliser. They'll be remembering that. They will be saying they're not done until the final whistle goes.
A change of shirt for Kyle McGuinness. He is the nameless midfielder when he comes back on, having had that head cut, patched up. Back on the pitch, Kilmarnock back to their full complement. We're inside the 45th minute. And late first half drama as Hearts go in front. You did wonder where a goal was going to come from for them. Well, Josh Grant had the answer. Long throw for Kilmarnock from the right side as they look to level things up, and a flashing effort at goal from McGuinness on his left foot. It looked promising for a moment. It goes wide, and he gets a big hug from Cammy Devlin as well. And are you okay?
Yeah,
until I hit you next time.
It's just the chance here of McGuinness. It just fell. It's coming across him with height on it. It's a difficult one technically to hit that. And it's went high and wide to the left. But go back to that, what you were just saying there with the cuddle, that sums Cammy Devlin up. He's not got a bad bone in his body, and that's why I knew he didn't mean that. He's over saying sorry and cuddling your opponent. The game has officially changed.
3 minutes being added to the first 45. And there's definitely a spring in the step at the moment of the Hearts players, which was noticeably lacking earlier on. That's what a goal does for you. And a nice little ball round the corner from Devlin for Shanklin. He plays it wide to the goal scorer, George Grant. His cross ball he gets all wrong, but Alan Forrest can keep it in on the opposite side. Support from Kingsley, looking to shimmy his way in behind to get across at goal, but he lost the ball. He had a tug at a Kilmarnock shirt, and it's a free kick for the home team, and Stephen McLean won't allow it to be taken quickly. He wants it to be taken on the right spot.
Yeah, it was better from Hearts, so much more slicker movement and play, moving the ball a lot faster with confidence, as you say, Rob. It was just a poor execution of the cross from Grant there. But yeah, that goal definitely gave them confidence. But listen, I think Kilmarnock will still believe they can absolutely get back in this game. They've played well enough in this first half. They just need to, for me, get Matty Kennedy and Danny Armstrong on the ball a lot more.
Maybe last chance in the first half for Kilmarnock to find an equaliser. Back from Kennedy, in from Dees. Good header away by Rolls, collected by Brad Lyons in the middle of the midfield for Killy. Mayo angles a ball in over the top of Sibic, and well, it took Dees by surprise, and it bounces away from him and in behind. If he'd managed to gather that, he could just have created something right at the end of the first half for Kilmarnock, but it looks very much as if Derek McInnes' team are going to head down the tunnel, a goal behind, heading into the second half of this first Viaplay Cup quarter-final. Goal kick for Xander Clark to launch up the pitch towards Shankland. Headed away, and back it comes from Rolls. Now Shankland with a touch and a turn and a spin away from Findlay, and he was taken out by the Kilmarnock central defender. It will be a free kick for Hearts. Just about 15 yards inside Kilmarnock territory. And the goal scorer will take this. And again, plenty of targets, with most of the back four having gone forward. Floated in by Grant. The knockdown is sliced behind, and this first half is going to end with a Hearts corner kick.
Yeah, it just adds a little bit of pressure and can put another ball into the box, and we spoke about it before the game. Kilmarnock have conceded goals from corners, so Yeah, it didn't look very convincing there. Stuart Finlay slicing at the ball clearance, and I'm sure Derek McInnes will just want his players in at half-time to refreshen them up.
So corner kick for Hearts. They lead by a goal to nil. The corner on the left, and it's an in-swinger from Grant towards the back post. And it was Shankland who got his head to it, but couldn't really steer it on target. And Will Dennis will launch this up the field from the goal kick. And you would imagine that will be that for the first 45. In fact, it might not even get that far. The whistle goes from Stephen McLean, and Hearts lead halfway through at Rugby Park. George Grant's first goal of the season, and it was expertly taken. You did wonder where a goal was coming from for the Tynecastle team, because they had not threatened at all. They'd failed to get a shot in on target, but as half-time beckoned, Grant worked a 1-2 with Shankland and just side-footed the ball away from Dennis, where the Killie keeper wasn't going to be able to get to it. It was brilliantly taken in a game in which it looked much more likely that Kilmarnock would go in front. Not a sparkling first half in terms of the quality of football, but certainly Matty Kennedy came close to scoring memorably for the home team when he jinked in off the left-hand side. He beat 3 Hearts defenders, and then a rasping right footer across Clark. It was heading into the far corner until the keeper flung himself to palm the ball away. It was some effort from Kennedy, and it was some save from Xander Clark. But it's the goal of George Grant which separates these two halfway through. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1.
The Scottish League Cup. Kilmarnock versus Hearts.
What a strike!
This is Sport Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Darren, what's your good story this week?
I might have accidentally stole a bike. I could probably go back and get it if that helps.
It's the show that shares stories of joy.
Who is this woman running about Glasgow pretending to be me, getting all the free booze and the free cola? I want her life.
And tales of woe.
So, Vigo Venn.
I chose to do a striptease to Joe Cocker's You Can Leave Your Hat On.
And throws in a few twists along the way.
3 teams outside of Manchester have won the Premiership in the last 10 years.
Sorry to be a narc, but it's the Premier League.
The good, the bad and the unexpected with Mark Nelson. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. The first of the League Cup quarter-finals. Half-time score is Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. I'm a great believer, Cammy, in calling things as they are. This has been dreadful, hasn't it? I mean, we've seen 2 bits of quality, 1 goal, 1 shot on target.
Yeah, listen, it's been very, very scrappy. I don't think any team's got a real grips of the game yet. That goal will give Hearts confidence, I'm pretty sure of that, but again also I think Kilmarnock will have belief in that changing room that they can get a goal back against this Hearts team. There's been enough signs for me that they can rattle this defence. Matty Kennedy had a fantastic opportunity where kind of solo effort, he's beat 2 or 3 men and then produced a brilliant save from Xander Clark. But you're right, Kenny, there's not been a lot of great moments in that first half. Very, very scrappy and edgy as well for both teams. Two sort of nervous teams, I would say.
Yeah, I think scrappy is actually a very good word, Lee. We've seen a lot of misplaced passes, poor control. Matty Kennedy appears to be the key for the home side. He started so well. Cammy touched on that great bit of play. Fantastic save from Xander Clark. But since that point, we've not really seen an awful lot of him. They've not been able to get him into the game, Kelly.
Yeah, in early parts of the game, they were feeding the ball out wide. He was standing wide, they were feeding it out wide, and he was driving inside towards goal. That's where he gets his chance face, getting past 2 defenders, and then get past a third, and then obviously pulling a great save for Xander Clark. Then the game dipped a little bit. It became, which to be honest, cup ties can do. They can become scrappy. And as they say, if you get to the final and get to lift the trophy, they don't remember these scrappy games that you need to go and win to get there. But I think Hearts have showed a bit of fight. 1 shot on target would suggest not good enough, but that doesn't matter. They're 1-0 up. Stephen will be the happier the managers, obviously. But I'm just thinking there, watching the teams come off, I'm thinking, do you think Derek is going to change his shape? Maybe go two strikers, go 3 at the back and go 2 strikers, which he kind of likes. You've got Vassell up there. He's sort of bullied Kenton Rowles at times. Do you bring on a young Innes Cameron that's like a younger version of Vassell, pace, power, and just get the ball in behind and turn them? I think Derek will be thinking about these things. How can he be a step ahead and maybe a little bit change of formation, get another one up the pitch and go with the 2 strikers? Possibly, let's wait and see, but I know he'll certainly be thinking about something.
Yeah, plenty to ponder here at half-time at Rugby Park in the first of the League Cup quarter-finals. Tomorrow on Sportsound, Hibs against St Mirren, Rangers Livingston and Ross County Aberdeen. Let's then get to Hampden Park, a huge game for our women's national team this evening. They are at home to Belgium in the Nations League. Let's cross there and join our reporter Amy Canavan. It sounded a fairly similar affair there, certainly earlier in the game at Hampden Park. Have things improved any, Amy?
Absolutely not, Kenny. I think Rob said that there's not much sparkling happening down at Rugby Park. Well, there's not an awful lot happening at Hampden Park either. In 45 minutes that myself and former Scotland international Suzanne Grant were both sitting here and we're both thinking, what are we going to say in these updates? We don't actually know what there is really to note. Something to note, Christy Grimshaw has been tireless. She's been sensational without having that final end product, and that just, as I said at the top of the show, seems to be the issue with Scotland under Pedro Martinez. Also, the performances are certainly improving, there's not a doubt about that, but the final third just lacking that little bit in quality, because I don't have the stats in front of me, but Scotland have been utterly dominant. Lee Gibson could have been sitting in the stands. She's had 1 save to make. I've just seen our TV colleagues have a Belgium chances sort of reel running, and I don't really know how they managed to conjure something up in truth. They're not even chances. Lee Gibson, she's had 1 save from rather close range, but other than that, she easily could have been sitting in the stands. The Belgian goalkeeper Nikki Everard has had to make some saves, as I say, from Christy Grimshaw. There was one in particular where she's dived and she's just managed to get her fingertips to it. I'm not really sure how she's managed to do it and round it around the post, and again it's just getting into those good positions without delivering that final quality. As we said earlier on, Caroline Weir is off, Amy Rodgers is on, so missing that little spark, but still there's not been any sort of drop in quality. Amy Rodgers is slotted in quite fine, but not an awful lot happening. Scotland would be deserved if there was a lead to be had. It would have to be through Scotland, but my goodness, it's been a pretty poor 45 minutes here.
Well, you did well to give us a couple of minutes on such a bad game. Thanks to Amy Canavan there, live from Hampden Park. Scotland up against Belgium in the Women's Nations League. So, Cammy, what will Derek McInnes be thinking at the moment? How does he change the flow of this game?
I think I don't think there'll be a change straight away. I think he will have changes in his mind, and yes, Innes Cameron will be one that now he's back fit. He's been injured for a period this season. He's a threat. He's another physical threat. And if you've got Matty Kennedy and Danny Armstrong on the 2 sides to get the ball in the box, and that's 2 physical players in the box to try and hit. I think they need to go back to where they were at the start of the game, and that was holding their width with Danny Armstrong and especially Matty Kennedy, and getting the ball out to 1v1 as quick as they can, because that's where they were getting a lot of success, Kenny, at the start of the game. They were getting out to Matty and he was taking on Civic down this left-hand side for Kilmarnock, and they were getting joy out of it as well, but then they went away from it. The game got scrappy and the midfielders couldn't get a foothold of the ball. But I think Derek will be saying, look, try and get Matt Kennedy 1v1 as quickly as possible and feed him the ball as much as possible, because I think that's where the real spark is and the real threat is the wide areas for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, over another flank, Lee, we've not seen an awful lot from Danny Armstrong. He was the man that bossed the quarter-final this time last year, actually, when they saw off Dundee United by 2-1. He got the winner that night. He was inspirational that evening. He's been fairly quiet tonight.
Yeah, he's been quiet, especially with his own standard. His own standard he played, the way he started the season as well. He's been tremendous. And yes, he's been a little bit quiet. I don't know whether we might even change Kennedy and Armstrong, even with the wings, just to mix it up slightly and try to get Armstrong in the game a little bit more. I think when you look at the middle of the park for Kilmarnock, Watson is bringing that energy and running off Vassell quite a lot. But you've got McGuinness and Lyons who can both play that switcher play with one touch and quickly fizz it out to these players. And Cammie's spot on. At the start of the game, Kilmarnock looked the much better team when they were switching the plate and getting it out to the two wide players. And Vassell is a constant threat when you put the ball in behind, and I think he's got the mark of the two centre-halves, Kent and Rowell. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to go about the game. I would like to see them get the ball in behind the Hearts defence to test them, get the defenders running towards their own goals, putting them under pressure. But then at the same time, you've got to be tight at the back when you've got Shanklin and the pace of Vargas and Forrest either side, and obviously Grant needs a little bit of quality, as he's shown with the goal that he scored. This game still could go either way, even although Hearts are in the ascendancy with 1-0.
Lee, talk us through that goal then, because you work with Lawrence Shanklin, as well as being a terrific goal scorer. He's a really clever, intelligent footballer, isn't he?
Yes, my belief is he doesn't get anywhere near enough credit for his link-up play, for his hold-up play, for his strength, his touch. His movement is the biggest compliment I can give him. His movement is probably the closest I've seen to Chris Boyd in the box. And Boydie would rightly say, yes, I'm slow at running, but there's nobody faster in the box. That's the sort of comparison with Lawrence Shanklin. It's always sharp double movements with him, and the timing of the run to get the connection in the ball for the cross from the blindsided defenders. His movement is sublime, and he's had 3 chances or 3 attempts at goal. Unlucky with, you would say, 2 of them. And it just shows you the quality this guy's got. And the question I would ask is, if Lawrence Shanklin is not in the team, who is the Hearts goal scorer?
You mentioned Chris Boyd there. We bumped into him outside tonight. He's a real character. The Killie fans absolutely love him. Lots of selfies. He was reminding them how many goals he scored down here. What was he like in the park?
Yeah, he was brilliant. Obviously record Scottish goal scorer, and for the bargain that Rangers bought him for, and the return they got from him. I mean, they offer him clubs. I'll bring the 2 clubs into this. They've spent millions to try and get a return for the same as Chris Boyd, and they've not really come up with anybody as good as him. But as a personality, there's no many better, and it was always he's self-proclaimed will say that any big games, he enjoyed watching them, because he just done it against the weird teams.
Yeah, you'll love that one, that's for sure. Speak to us then about the thing you know best about Cammy. The goalkeeper's a terrific save from Xander Clark, but also Lee pointed out in commentary the distribution from Dennis. I mean, it was almost the most amazing pass of the season. Vassell nearly got on the end of it.
Yeah, I'll touch on Dennis first. I think it was a good claim from a ball that popped in the air, and it was under pressure, but then he seen Vassell just taking off up the pitch, and it was a brilliant side kick ball up the pitch. And as I said, if that was a summer's day, that would have been absolutely perfect, and Vassell would have been one-on-one with Clark, and it would have been an opportunity for Kilmarnock to save. But there was a big moment in that first half for Hearts, and that was Xander Clark's save. You can't underestimate how big these moments are when goalkeepers make big saves. He's not had a lot else to do. What I would touch on is he had a mistake at the weekend as well. He played a big part in the goal for St Mirren, held his hands up that he called for the ball and never came and collected it. There was a bit of confusion. So he's reacted really well. He looks fairly solid at the back there, as I say. Made a fantastic save from Matty Kennedy. So that just shows you the character and quality that Xander's got.
As we await the teams to come back out then, guys, the fixtures tomorrow night, how do you see these games going? Let's start with the game in Edinburgh. This again looks a tough one to call. Hibs against St Mirren.
I think that's probably well, as you say, the hardest one to call. You've got Hibs looking to string a bit of form together. Great win at the weekend. St Mirren the same, great win at the weekend. 2 probably on-form teams, although St Mirren are the on-form team out of the 2 of them. I'm going to go. I can't go for a draw. I can't sit in the fence.
No, you can't.
I'm going to go Hibs to win this game.
I'm going to go St Mirren. I just think St Mirren. No, listen, St Mirren have been fantastic this season. I think because they don't concede a lot of goals as well. I think they'll go there with real confidence and be desperate to get to a semi-final.
Rangers against Livingston. I was listening to Sports Sound on Sunday. Rangers got the victory, a narrow victory against Motherwell. They were booed off. I've heard so many fans saying they're not going back until there's a change made there. They have to win this competition, don't they? Michael Beale must deliver the League Cup. 100%,
yes. Especially, obviously, stating the obvious, Celtic are out of it, so Rangers are massive favourites, and anything other than lifting that cup would go down as a big failure. And everybody at the club, the dressing room will know that, the manager will know that, the fans already know that. So I'm going to go for Rangers to win tomorrow.
And in contrast, Aberdeen delivered a very convincing win at the weekend. They're away at Ross County tomorrow evening. Cammy, make the Dons favourites?
Yeah, I do. I think they're hitting some form. They had a good performance in Europe midweek, and then they've produced a really good win against Ross County. I think it'll be a different game. It'll be a much tougher game, but I expect the Dons to go through.
All that to look forward to on Sports Sound tomorrow evening. We are at Rugby Park tonight for the first of the League Cup quarter-finals, and it is the away side Hearts who have the advantage. The teams are back out. We'll give you a notification of any changes. Let's get back to our commentary team of Cammy Bell, Lee McCulloch and Rob McLean.
Thanks, Kenny. Peter Hadding is coming on for Hearts. We just saw him a couple of moments ago getting his working togs on, and looks like a straight swap in the middle of midfield with Cammy Devlin having stayed indoors, and that might be something to do with a head knock that he suffered when he clashed in the first half with Kyle McGuinness. He needed patched up. The Kilmarnock midfielder, he needed a change of strip as well, and clearly it's had a lasting effect on Cammy Devlin as well. You would imagine that is why the change has been made at half-time. Hadding on, and we're back underway in the second half. Kyle McGuinness has got a bandage on his head, but he plays on while it's game over for Devlin, and it's 1-0 for Hearts. And how is this going to pan out from here? Well, the goal scorer is on the ball immediately and surging towards the penalty box, and he flicked a pass out wide towards Vargas, who looked as if he took his eye off it. Otherwise he could well have had an opportunity to get a shot in inside the opening 60 seconds of the second half. Long ball from Kent, headed away by Dees, but here come Hearts again, and it's Grant again right in the middle of the pitch, having a big influence on this, to Vargas on the byline, and he again just loses his concentration for a split second as he tried to play the ball in. He let it go beyond the line. It's gone behind for a goal kick, but it's certainly a bright start to the second half from the team who scored late in the first half.
Yeah, it was, and again I just felt as if when Grant was through there he had options either side, but I wouldn't have blamed him for just having a pop at goal there, especially after scoring in the first half. It opened up for him a little bit, being so early in the half. I felt as if he should have just hit it, but yeah, bright start from Hearts, and they've been really impressive so far.
He's just finding pockets of spaces, George Grant. It's his first start of the season, and it's his first goal of the season, so he's sending a statement out to Stephen Naismith about what he can deliver if he's given his opportunity, Lee McCulloch.
Yeah, that's the type of player he is. He's a number 10. He came up for Peterborough and he was their top goal scorer and top assist the season before Joe Savage brought him in, and it's just not really happened for him this season, obviously with it being his first start. But he's got quality. He's got quality in possession. He can find a pass. He can score a goal, as he's shown. His set play delivery can be very good. I just think he's just a little bit out of sorts, or been a little bit out of sorts at the end of the season, last season.
Armstrong's ball in, really good one. Cleared as far as Kennedy, doesn't catch the shot. It's laid back out again for David Watson, and he's under real pressure as he tried to get a left footer in on target, and it was George Grant, the goal scorer, who just closed down the youngster in the nick of time, and that ensured that his shot went well wide of target.
Yeah, it was a half chance for Matty Kennedy. He just gets his strike all wrong, but it started off with Danny Armstrong wanting the short free kick. He was demanding it off Matty Kennedy.
He was screaming at him.
Yeah, he was desperate for it, and he got at the defender, cutting in his left foot and put a good ball in, but Matty Kennedy just couldn't get his strike on target.
Just couldn't quite get over the shot and get it in on goal after he finally relented and answered the screams from Armstrong and gave him the ball. Armstrong was over the ball initially, then he peeled out wide and he wanted the ball badly and he got it. Kilmarnock would love to cancel out that Grant goal as quickly as possible. Hearts will be looking to add to the only goal of the game so far and just give themselves a bit of breathing space. Played forward by Joe Wright. Cleared only as far as McGuinness in the midfield for Kilmarnock. Down the line from Mayo, lovely first-time touch inside from Armstrong. Not latched onto, and Hearts look to respond, and Grant lunging in on the halfway line against Stuart Findlay, and that'll be a yellow card for the goal scorer.
I think Stuart's just beat him with pace there and got in front of him, cleared the ball. Again, I don't see much malice in it, but probably, yes, it's a yellow card. He's just... Stuart's up and running away already, so there's no damage done, but probably his foot was a little bit high.
Well, I saw you in action recently at the Braehead Masters, so I know exactly what your standards are in terms of a challenge.
Let's not go there, please.
Free kick on halfway for Kilmarnock, with a goal down here as Kennedy plays it forward. Up for the header was Stuart Findlay, and when the ball comes down, it's lashed at by Robbie Dees, and it's no threat to Xander Clark.
It looks as if Matty Kennedy's went more central in this second half. You can see he's sort of playing up beside Kyle Vassell or just off him to probably get more bodies in around him for second balls. And Danny Armstrong's been holding this width really well on the right-hand side, so that's a slight adjustment.
Yeah, I think it's a 4-4-2, Cammy, when you look at it. He's changed it for obviously the 4-3-3, let's call it, and he's went with the two strikers in the 4-4-2.
The ball is launched forward and headed away by Frankie Kent for Hearts as Kilmarnock look to apply some pressure here. Another clearance from Kent, and again Kilmarnock are on the ball quickly and they work it out wide to Danny Armstrong. Jinking his way down the touchline, then he fires the ball in low. Will it come down for the shot at goal? It was Kennedy, just couldn't quite get it gathered under his feet to get the shot away. But it's a good response to that early flurry from Hearts at the start of the second half. Let's head for Hampden. A goal has flooded in for Amy.
Drop out that optimism, Rob. Honestly, I am in a state of shell shock right now. Not only that it's Belgium that have taken the lead, it's the manner in which this goal has been scored by Masupo. We're just seeing the replays of it here. It's so poor from Scotland. It actually comes from the second phase of a corner, which from up here didn't look like a corner. I did catch the replay of that. It sort of seemed that it came off the Belgian player, but I don't know if it did maybe come off Sophie Howard. But anyway, the corner's whipped in, cleared, comes out again. The free ball from about 20 yards out, sort of whipped in towards the back post, and I say whipped, that's wrong. It's more caressed than it. There's no pace in the ball whatsoever. And Masupo, who's a tiny little player, you can barely see her on the pitch. She's so petite. She manages to rise. There's no Scotland defenders near her, and it's so poor. She nods back across the face of goal, and Lee Gibson, who I said hasn't had anything to do tonight, has been beaten. Belgium 1-0 up.
7 minutes into the second half at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. George Grant with the only goal of the game. And a booking for him early second half. Kingsley's throw down the line, bouncing in front of Shankland. And heading out. And Lewis Mayo will take the throw in as Kilmarnock look to force their way back into this cup tie. Lofted forward by Mayo. The ball drops for Brad Lyons. Heading the way of McGuinness, but it's well won by Kenneth Vargas. Behind him, Toby Sibic rolls it inside for Haring. Haring was having his shirt pulled by Watson, and that will be a free kick. Stephen McLean calling the youngster across for a quick word. And Frankie Kent to take the free kick for Hearts. Just a few yards inside the Hearts half. Big diagonal from the central defender, headed away by Joe Wright.
Games went a bit scrappy again, Rob.
Yeah.
I feel it's a lot of turnovers of possession, a lot of free kicks given. It's just you want to see, well, you want to see free-flowing football, but we just want to see some chances created really this half, other than going in the show of that first half, and I do believe they'll come.
Kennedy chasing a pass from Vassell, left side of the box, turns it back. McGuinness with a shot, struck it really well. You wondered whether that was going to nestle in the bottom corner for a moment. It beats under Clark, but it was just the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, it was great play again down the left-hand side. Matty Kennedy does well, faces the defender up and just lays it back for Kel McGuinness, and he fires it in from that angle, and it's inches past the post. I don't know if Xander Clark would have got there. There was so much pace on it, but it was a real good sign in 10 for Kilmarnock.
McGuinness looking for his first goal of the season, and there'll be a mighty roar around Rugby Park if they can get this cup tie levelled up and then look to win it. Well, Vassell thought he'd kept the ball in on the left-hand side, but it had just crossed the touchline. It will be a throw for Hearts, and it will be Toby Sibic to take it, deputising tonight for the injured Nathaniel Atkinson. Sibic's throw aimed at Shankland, bouncing through and turned back to goalkeeper Will Dennis. He was threat-free for most of that first half, the Kilmarnock goalkeeper. Mistake by Sibic. In comes McGuinness again down the left side of the penalty box. It was a swing and a miss from Sibic, but it was an almost impossible angle from which to score from McGuinness, and he would have been better served probably trying to whip in across there, Lee.
Yeah, the ball's went over Toby Sibic's head, and he doesn't know where McGuinness is, and he's lashed at the ball instead of showing a little bit of composure and just clearing it. McGuinness gets in. I agree he should have crossed it, but after his recent shot with the technique he showed there, then you can't really blame him for trying.
Tactical switch in the second half with Kennedy up alongside Vassell, playing in a much more central role. He was certainly threatening out wide early first half, but didn't really get enough of the ball laterally. He should be more involved in that central position. Now here come Hearts with Grant playing a ball inside Mayo for Forrest, but Lewis Mayo recovers well and hooks it downfield up towards the halfway line. Kennedy tried to control it, not quite. Played away by Kent. Came off Armstrong. Head tennis for a moment around the halfway line, and now the ball's on the deck for Armstrong to slip away from the challenge of Nieuwenhof. Rolls it for Watson, and David Watson was concerned he was offside, so he stood where he was, and the pass slips harmlessly behind for the goal kick.
I think he was offside, or obviously concerned he was offside, and he just left it. He only had to get a 1 yard, and it's a big thing about strikers nowadays, getting them back onside to go again. He's just lack of concentration there, maybe.
It was a waste, Rob. It was a real waste, because Danny Armstrong done brilliant down this right-hand side, skipped past the Hearts player and got in a good position. I felt as if he should have checked in and whipped the ball in, especially when you've got two strikers now in the box, and he opted to play in David Watson, who, as we spoke about, thought he was offside.
BBC Scotland telling the story of the League Cup quarter-finals over the next two nights, with Hibs and St Mirren, Ross County Aberdeen, Rangers Livingston to come. This time tomorrow night. Will it be Kilmarnock? Will it be Hearts claiming the first place? Forward goes Rolls. Everyone backs off. Now Shankland inside the box. Left-hand side. Alan Forrest. Can he deliver? Couldn't quite get his left boot wrapped around it, but it's taken a nick on its way into the side net, and it will be a Hearts corner.
Tremendous play from Kyle Rolls there. Coming forward, because skips past maybe a couple. Kyle McGuinness sort of gave up the ghost. Sorry, it wasn't Vassell, sort of gave up the ghost and let him charge forward, because ball goes out for Shanks to Forrest. He shifted it, slight deflection, nailing it in.
Corner kick for Hearts on the left-hand side, in front of their fans behind that goal. George Grant plays it in, back post. The ball flies high, still not cleared, and it's a great effort from Kingsley, and it's back off the bar. He had a stab at it with his left foot. It was placed almost perfectly, just a fraction away from 2-0. Brilliant effort from Kingsley, denied by the frame of the goal.
Yeah, it's a brilliant effort. It just kind of pops up in between bodies, and he just kind of almost flicks it a half volley, and it just pops off the bar. Really unfortunate for Hearts, because you think if they get the second goal, that would be game over.
Well, he is so dangerous from set pieces, anything inside 35 yards. You're a bit concerned when he's over the ball, that time from open play, and it was superb with his left foot, and he's so unlucky, Lee, not to be making it 2-0.
Yeah, great technique from him, because the ball's in the air, coming towards him.
That's kept in by McGuinness for Vassell, and the shot is spilled by Xander Clark, but he managed to get enough on it to work it wide. Back in it comes from Armstrong. Too much on the cross from the right-hand side, and it's going to go all the way behind.
Rob, I think you're being very harsh on Xander Clark there, saying he spilled it. I felt as if that was a brilliant save. Great technique from Kyle Vassell, absolutely smashes it with the left foot. And for me, Xander does really well. Gets two good hands on it and pushes it away from the area.
Don't mess about with the goalies, Rob.
I think I might have touched a raw nerve there. Held it, well, couldn't hold it, Xander Clark. Saved it, but couldn't hold on to it. But it was a good effort from Vassell, and it was certainly a problem for the Hearts goalkeeper after that escape for Kilmarnock down at the other end, when Kingsley's flick of the left boot from the edge of the area came back off the crossbar. Here comes McGuinness, crossing halfway and pretty cynically taken out by Peter Haring, and well, he hasn't taken long to get a yellow card against his name.
Clear yellow card there. I think it's one of the ones, you call it a good foul on the transition there, attacking transition, Kilmarnock, and it's a tactical foul, let's call it. I'm being kind here.
Yeah, I think it's a good foul, Lee.
Thanks, mate.
Free kick taken short by Kilmarnock. Kennedy dinks it into the box. It was a great idea. He just dropped it into a really good position, and Kyle Vassell wasn't too far away from getting on the end of that. Off his line came Xander Clark to grab it for Hearts. He who made that superb save first half to deny Kennedy. This game is finally balanced, and Kilmarnock are looking to respond to the only goal of the game. Good defending, calm play from Kent, plays it out. Now Nieuwenhof for Forrest, who didn't play a great pass to Kingsley, had to stretch to keep it in and fire it down the touchline. And I think in trying to keep it in, he looks as though he might have done a bit of hamstring damage, and he's just cagily walking down the touchline to take this throw in at the moment, but looks a little bit concerned about his left leg.
Yeah, I don't know if it's went tight or not. Stephen's been really unlucky with injuries recently, and I just hope he can continue on. He's still hobbling about a little bit.
Forrest making a forcing run down the left-hand side, but maybe forcing it a little bit too much. And the free kick goes Kilmarnock's way. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1, BBC Radio Scotland. We're past the hour mark, and George Grant's first goal of the season is the difference. As things stand, plenty of football to be played as the ball is launched up and Vassell flicks it on, and Kent clears. Now down the right side for Kennedy to clip in across. It's blocked. Kilmarnock still have it with Mayo. The ball breaks back towards the Lions. Great challenge. And the ball is worked wide left for Shankland. This looks promising on the counter for Hearts. The crossfield ball bouncing in front of George Grant, who hesitated. And Stuart Findlay was able to get the ball away for Kilmarnock. Down the touchline it goes. And the throw-in, or is it a free kick that's gone Hearts' way for the Vassell challenge? And well, you can hear what the Kilmarnock fans think about that.
Great little touch there. for Vassell. He's tried that Bergkamp goal against, I think it was Newcastle, and he's nearly got away with it. I think Kent's actually fell over his own feet there, and the referees gave a foul.
Very soft. I've just seen it on the screen in front of us, and it looks very, very soft. He's done that old one that you grab the ball when you're falling over, and the ref normally goes with it, which Steve McLean has today.
Kent with the free kick, he fires it forward. Lovely touch from Shanklin to get it down for Grant. The ball breaks back to Vargas, and his shot is blocked by Findlay. Setting out here in search of a second goal, Hearts, which would make life very difficult for Kilmarnock at this stage if Stephen Naismith's team could score again. And they were mighty close to doing just that 5 minutes or so ago. Forrest Lively getting to the corner flag and putting a lovely ball in beyond the back post, and it's stabbed behind for a corner by Danny Armstrong with absolutely no one near him. There was no communication to Kilmarnock's number 11.
Spot on, Rob. I think, oh, Cammy, you'll know better. Does the goalkeeper need to give him a shout there maybe, or does he need to scan and check his shoulders that there's nobody there? Either way, they've got to do better. They've conceded a silly corner kick here, and if they concede a goal here.
In it comes from Grant beyond the back post, and there goes the whistle for a free kick. And well, Kilmarnock are relieved about that. Danny Armstrong is relieved about that because it was an avoidable situation. It was a gift of a corner kick. It was certainly preventable with a bit of with a shout from somebody.
Yeah, I think just communication from the goalkeeper. Even you'd expect Danny to have a look over his shoulder and be aware of what's surrounding him in that situation, and he got it all wrong. I think he was very nervous when the ball came to him and went safety first, but it could have punished him, but thankfully it hasn't.
Kilmarnock knocked out the holders in the last round of this competition. Having beaten Rangers here, they beat Celtic by the same 1-0 scoreline in the last 16, and looking to hurdle another barrier that stands in front of them towards the semi-finals. But at the moment it is Hearts who are on course for a trip to Hampden, courtesy of George Grant's goal, beautifully taken from a player who's not seen too much action this season. Can Kilmarnock find the response thereafter? Brad Lyons with a long ball, and watched carefully by Kingsley. Good shout from Xander Clark in behind him, and the ball bounces through to the goalkeeper. We're at 65 minutes. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. I wonder at what point Derek McInnes is going to think about some changes.
You have got Innes Cameron who can come on. You've got Rory McKenzie who come on in the middle of the pitch. You're out wide for a little bit of energy, but yeah, Polworth maybe. I don't know. I'm just looking.
Yeah, I think Polworth's got quality again. Set piece wise, he's very good over the ball and can see a pass. But I think Innes Cameron would probably be the first one that you'd look at to try and bring that physicality up front alongside Vassell.
Just the one change made by Hearts, and you would imagine it was an enforced change. Here goes McGuinness with a driving run down the left-hand side, has a look up at what's available in the middle. He tries to thread it through, stabbed away by Kai Rolls. Good defending from him, just plugging the gap, reading the game, and then sparking a counter-attack from Hearts. But here comes Kyle Vassell on the turn, and a nice little change of direction gets him away from Haring, and he rolls the ball wide left for Kennedy onto the right foot. Deflection on the crossbar, big chance, and there is the equaliser for Kilmarnock. The far post header is buried, and we are back on level terms. It's Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 1. And it is Brad Lyons who's headed that in from the deflected Kennedy cross. Lyons for Kilmarnock, and it's all square.
Got to say, brilliant for Matty Kennedy out wide. He's double step over away for Civic. The cross has took a deflection, but Brad Lyons, midfield runner, getting in the box. What an incredible header that is into the corner. And Xander had no chance.
It all started with Kyle Vassell for me. Again, he was very positive running at defenders. I think he beat one, and then he identified Matt Kennedy out left, wide left, and just left him alone. 1v1, which we've been speaking about all night. 1v1, fast feet, whips in a cross, and a brilliant header for Brad Lyons. And we're game on again, Rob.
A VAR check, though.
Yeah, there is a delay to the restart. Stephen McLean has his finger in his ear. Possible handball is what they're looking at. Greg Aitken is the man in charge of VAR tonight. Well, there was one massive roar when that header went in. There'll be one massive groan if it is chalked off, because Kilmarnock is hoping that has given them the lift in the game. And well, it is a lift for Kilmarnock because the goal stands. Grant for Hearts, Lyons for Kilmarnock. 1-1, game on with 22 minutes to go.
It was hard to see here where the handball could have been, whether it's come off his hand and went in, or hand to head or head to hand, I don't know. But definitely it's game on now, Rob.
Sure is. He likes an important goal, does Brad Lyons. And that header, well, you can hear exactly the impact it's had at Rugby Park. Now Armstrong against Kingsley, heading for the byline. Good defending from Stephen Kingsley. He was strong there against Armstrong. He just stood shoulder to shoulder and escorted the ball behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, again, it's positive though from Kilmarnock. A look at Danny Armstrong, think just get the ball in the box, because he had 4 bodies in the box there. All Kyle Vassell, Kennedy, McGuinness and Brad Lyons, again, all in the box looking for the ball to come in. So Kilmarnock are here to win this game.
Yeah, it was Brad Lyons against Rangers, wasn't it, on the first day of the season, with the only goal of that game. Vital equaliser here, but now it's Hearts looking to quickly respond, and it's Grant and Kingsley and Nieuwenhof down the left-hand side of the box. Grant again, just inside the area, rolls it out wide for Kingsley. Armstrong tries to stop him. Grant involved again as Hearts look to create something here. He's on the move and he gets it back on the byline. Grant fires it across goal. Good goalkeeping by Will Dennis to dive out and pounce on the ball as Hearts look to apply the finishing touch. Shankland was waiting in the middle.
Brilliant there for George Grant out wide. Little 1-2, great ball in. And Dennis, brave as ever, down at the feet, because if he doesn't come and get that, Shankland's tapping that in. Great play for Hearts there.
He's a big lad, Will Dennis, isn't he? He's got a fair old reach.
Yeah, he is, and that, again, Lee's touching it there. It was a really, really positive take from him, and one that some goalkeepers would shy away from, but he was out there to collect it, because as you say, Lawrence Shankland was there to put in the back of net. If he's not there.
I'm talking up the keepers now, Cammy, because you gave me a really dirty look when I offered a word of criticism earlier on towards Xander Clark. Respect. Clark is racing forward to take a goal kick for Hearts.
I think the change though, Rob, at half-time, I think that's been really positive for Kilmarnock, getting Matty Kennedy closer to Kyle Vassell. There's been a lot more link-up play, and it's been a really good move from Derek McInnes at half-time. Yeah,
it's just got Kennedy more involved, hasn't it? And he was heavily involved in the goal, which has levelled things up here.
What it gives, Rob, this attack.
Yeah, it was good work by Kai Rolls that time, winning the ball against Vassell. And the game is swinging end to end at the moment. But there's a blast of Stephen McLean's whistle and a free kick for Kelly.
What it gives is, when Kilmarnock are going with the 2 strikers and they're going to 4-4-2, Hearts have got an extra man in the middle of the pitch then, but they're not really using it. Hearts have been going more direct this half. Again, they're not passing the ball about the back, maybe not being allowed to, but they're going so direct into Shankland, and they're not using the spare man that they've got in the 4-3-3 shape, 4-2-3-1, whatever you want to call it, they're not using that, so they're not passing the ball out for the back now. They're not getting Peter Haring in a half turn for the switch of play or the passes through the lines.
Here comes the change for Hearts, Cardine. Cardine's not going to play, I don't think. It's well, it's Odell Lafaya who's coming on off the bench, the 20-year-old on loan from Brighton. I had hoped our touchline reporter might be bringing that news to us, that breaking news. Alan Forrest was the player who came off, so Hearts make their second change. Kilmarnock still with the 11 who started this. Derek McInnes not really showing any signs of wanting to change anything at the moment.
Ofaya is a natural right back, are led to believe that. I think he's just going to go on the right wing. I think they're concerned about McGuinness over there now with the chances he's had.
They might be concerned about Vassell at the moment, but they defended pretty well and now look to counter. Kilmarnock flooding back, trying to fill the space. Here's Ofaya, gets his first touch. And he is playing in front of Toby Sibic down that right side for Hearts, who've had their lead cancelled out. And Kilmarnock looking to build on that equaliser. Lewis Mayo turning and hooking the ball forward. Rolls headed it off Haring. Kilmarnock fans looking for a handball that wasn't forthcoming. Nieuwenhof down the left side, hits the deck, no free kick. And the right decision. There wasn't really any contact against him. It's played up to Vassell. Unlucky as he chested the ball down. He just lost his balance at that point and stumbled over. Always a great target for Kilmarnock when they want to get the ball up the pitch.
Yeah, you can see what a good focal point he is. He loves that one where he brings it down on his chest, and he was really unfortunate, Rob, there. He just lost his footing, or it could have been another attack for Kilmarnock.
He's a handful, Cammy, isn't he? He's got pace, power, and when he's on it, he's sometimes unplayable. And I think that's why Derek's made him captain this season. He's a handful when he plays.
Rolls plays the ball forward towards Shanklin. Doesn't stick for the Hearts skipper, but he shows real grit to get it back. Nieuwenhof and Kingsley. Now Grant in towards Shanklin, gets it back to George Grant, and he tried to open up his body and curl a right footer beyond Will Dennis, but it ended up being pretty much straight at the Killie keeper.
He's unlucky there. He's went for the far post. He's just not got enough on it. But again, George Grant causing problems. I think he's been probably Hearts' best player so far in this match. Dropping deep, picking up in the half turn.
Watson chasing a flick from Vassell. Back goes Rolls to knock the ball out of play. Here comes a change for Kilmarnock. It's going to be Robbie Dees coming off, and Corey Ndaba is going to replace him.
Yeah, probably just it's almost just a like-for-like change for me. Ndaba's a good player, can get up and down that side. He's got good delivery into the box as well. So Kilmarnock and Derek McInnes will be looking to use that and get towards Kyle Vassell in that Hearts box.
It was always going to be a difficult Cup quarter-final to call this one, and no great surprise that we find ourselves at 1-1 on BBC Radio Scotland, with three maybe tight ties to come tomorrow night as well. Rangers against Livingston, Hibs against St Mirren, Ross County against Aberdeen, as the Dingwall team look for revenge for what happened at Pittodrie at the weekend. Lewis Mayo tries to launch the ball down the right side for Danny Armstrong. Just quite get his boot wrapped around it, and it flies out of play for a Hearts throw-in. We're not too far away from heading inside the last 10 minutes of regulation time. Are we going to get this sorted out in the 90 minutes? Kingsley's throw headed away by Armstrong. Danny Armstrong can do the ugly stuff as he gets back down the side, as well as being a real threat on the attack. Kingsley with the ball in his hands. What an effort that was from him earlier. It could have been 2-0 Hearts. It is 1-1 as the ball is played towards Grant. Couldn't get control of it, and it's Brad Lyons, the Killie goal scorer, the ball downfield. Kent back to Clark and out to Rolls. On his left foot, Kai Rolls just dinks it down the side, but it's beyond everyone in maroon, and an easy job from Mayo to clear on the halfway line. Nieuwenhof with a good turn, and now a driving run. Back goes Armstrong. Great play, Danny Armstrong, popping up in the middle of the pitch to intercept. Not quite sure what he was doing there, but it was really important for Kilmarnock that he stopped that run from the Australian midfielder.
Armstrong, that we spoke about, is obviously a match winner. He's got quality and possession, but certainly works so hard. He's back helping the defenders there. dispossessing, turning, trying passes, threading passes. He's a real handful. He's a quality player.
He's got some engine, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's one thing I really like. I'm watching him over the past couple of seasons, and his work rate is phenomenal. And again, that's what Derek McInnes drills into his Kilmarnock players.
Kyle McGuinness on the end of a pass from Vassell, and his effort takes a deflection as he tried to hammer that into a post. Down went Zander Clark, and the ball took a diversion on its way behind. It's going to be a Kilmarnock corner kick, and that will be potentially a moment of concern for Hearts as Killie look to turn this cup tie on its head, having trailed 5 minutes from half time. They levelled it up second half, and both teams are looking to hunt down a winner and take their place in the Viaplay Cup semi-finals. The corner kick is on the left-hand side. (1-1) at Rugby Park. In the balance, Kennedy swings it in, punched away by Clark. Lots of bodies in front of him. Did well to get it away. It's back in coming from Armstrong. Had it and lost it, the Hearts goalkeeper. He stayed down, Zander Clark. Slowly getting back to his feet. Can I say spilled that time, Cammy?
Yeah, I think he's looking for the free kick there. But Steve McLean's absolutely not giving him it. I don't think it was a free kick. I think it's a coming together.
Back into the box. And a header on target. Not a header that was going to beat Zander Clark, but an effort in on goal. And now Hearts look to respond. Header from Kingsley on the halfway line, and it's bouncing out of play. And we can head back to Amy at Hampden. How's it going there, Amy?
Time's running out, Robin. Hampden Park absolutely knows it. The Tartan Army, the result from the Netherlands has definitely reached the stands now. They've beat England 2-1. Any other time, really, an English loss would make its way to the National Stadium. It'd be greeted with a delightful cheer and sometimes bigger celebrations than you see here, but not tonight. They know that that's not really the result that Scotland wanted, because now that means that every side in the group other than Scotland have at least a win, and if it stays the way that it is here, Belgium will have 2 and Scotland will be sitting on 0 points at the bottom of A1.
Here at Rugby Park, Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 1, and inside the last 10 minutes we are. McGuinness with a header forward. It's beyond Vassell. It's cleared by Kent. It's airborne, and it's bouncing inside the centre circle. Rafaya had a fair push at McGuinness before heading the ball forward. Got away with it, and now Stuart Finlay to clear for Kilmarnock up towards McGuinness, who's done really well to get on the end of that. The odds were stacked against him, and showing real hunger and desire, and the Kilmarnock fans appreciated that from him. Now it's Grant looking to get control of it. Back it went to Finlay, who miscues and launches the ball out of play under no great pressure. The ball rolled back to him by Ndaba. Liam Boyce is going to be coming on for Hearts as Stephen Naismith looks for a winner. And off is going to come the Hearts goal scorer, George Grant. Took his chance brilliantly first half. That's the end of the game for him, and it's going to be that old Shanklin-Boyce partnership up top now for Hearts as they look to win the game.
Yeah, very attacking substitute there from Stephen Naismith. I think he's wanting to obviously get the winner as quickly as possible, but I think George Grant tonight showed enough for him to be there or thereabouts come the weekend. He's not played at all really this season, so I think he's done himself no harm.
Kingsley's cross for Hearts, great ball in from the left hand side. In came Kenneth Vargas, and he's on his hands and knees in the 6-yard box wondering why he didn't apply the finishing touch. It had invitation written all over it from Kingsley. Yeah,
it was good play again. Boyce involved straight away, laid it off to Kingsley down this left hand side, and it was a fantastic ball in between the goalkeeper and the back four, and Vargas just couldn't get it to it. It was almost just inches away. Anything on it, a toe on it, it's in the back of the net.
Seen a few flashes from Ofaya since coming off the bench. Looks a powerful presence down that right side for Hearts. Looks pretty comfortable getting into the attacking areas as well. Throw in for Kilmarnock, Mayo with it. Looking for Vassell. Cleared by Kingsley. Watson in the middle of the pitch. The youngster for Kilmarnock. Now Lyons angles it out wide for Armstrong. You never know whether he's going to go right side or left side, Danny Armstrong, which is a real problem when you're trying to counter what he does. And the upshot of all that is that Kilmarnock have got themselves a free kick.
Yeah, brilliant again from Danny Armstrong. Just faces them up and sees the gap in between both of them, and it's so positive. Just finds that gap and somebody leaves a leg line and over he goes, and this is a really dangerous area if Kilmarnock can get the delivery right.
There could be a battle between the two of them as to which one's going to take this, because it's Kennedy and Armstrong. Both will fancy themselves to create something for the home team, who've come back from a goal down and are now looking to get their noses in front. You would think Armstrong, but who knows, from the right-hand side, just a few yards away from the corner of the penalty box. 2 in the wall for Hearts. And it's all gone very quiet around the ground. Anticipation among the Kilmarnock fans. Will it be Kennedy? Will it be Armstrong? Well, Danny's left the scene. In from Matty Kennedy, headed away by Shankland. Well positioned, the Hearts skipper doing the defending. All the way up to halfway and back from Armstrong to Will Dennis, who launches it back down the pitch. Up goes Kent to win the header. Flicked on towards Shankland. Important header won by Lewis Mayo. Onto the loose ball goes Boyce. Out on the left-hand side, up goes an offside flag. 84 minutes on the clock. Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 1.
Yeah, disappointing delivery there from Matty Kennedy. The first man heads clear. It's so frustrating when that happens, especially late on in the game. You're looking to put the Hearts defence under pressure. For me, I would have let Danny Armstrong have the in-swinger and put as much pressure on the Hearts back line as possible.
Lee, are you available for extra time?
Yeah, okay.
There was a bit of doubt about that for a moment, because that's where this game is heading as things stand. Can one of these teams win the cup tie without the necessity for an extra half hour?
I still think there'll be another chance in the game. I really do. Especially with Boyce on the pitch. Although he's gave the ball away there, commentators curse on it.
And the rain is absolutely lashing down here at Rugby Park as we head into the closing stages. You don't want to be making a mistake at the moment. And Stephen McLean has upset the Kilmarnock fans with by awarding a free kick to Liam Boyce.
That looked a soft one for me, Rob. I felt as if Brad Lyons took the ball and Boyce went over, and Kilmarnock were on for an attack there. So yeah, a big call from Stephen McLean to pull that back. Very soft.
That's a couple tonight he's gave that you wouldn't expect him to give. I like Stephen McLean. I think he's a very, very good referee, and usually he likes the play to evolve and keep going, but tonight he's been a little bit stop-start.
Kai Rolls with a diagonal towards Boyce, headed away by the Kilmarnock substitute Ndaba. And now it's McGuinness with a bandage around his head on the left-hand side of the midfield for Kilmarnock, who work it along the back line. And the ball is now with Lewis Mayo, crossing halfway, right-hand side. Slips a pass infield to David Watson, into the feet of Vassell. In goes Haring to try to win it for Hearts. He's got a yellow card against his name already, Haring. Now Boyce plays one up towards Vargas, headed away by Findlay. Who's going to be first to the loose ball? It was Ndaba. And now it's going to be Matty Kennedy turning away from Nieuwenhof, and he's hauled down by the Hearts midfielder, and that's as clear a yellow card as you'll see.
That's as clear a professional foul you'll see. It's a good foul that to give away. He just got too tight, he was spun, and he's just dragged them back. Clear yellow card, but I think he stopped a counter-attack there.
Just the pace of Matty Kennedy. He's got a real turn of pace over 2 or 3 yards to get away from people, and yeah, I agree with Lee that it's a clever foul to give away when Kilmarnock were on the break.
2.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 1. Danny Armstrong with a free kick for the home team, looping towards the back post. Good knockdown from Findlay, but Hearts had enough players there to be able to scramble that away. Out on the far side for a throw-in. Kyle McGuinness in a hurry to take it. Play the ball back to Dennis, and back out again to McGuinness, who knocks it down the left-hand side. The ever-willing Vassell chases it and gets it. Visibility has been cut down here by the deriving rain. Kilmarnock, they're looking for a winner here. Watson hoping that the ball had been deflected behind for a corner. It's gone behind, but it's going to be a goal kick. We'll find out shortly how much time is going to be added on, how much time there is to settle this cup tie. Otherwise, they will go on, these two, to decide who goes to Hampden. It's a big incentive, big prize. And right at the moment, it is very difficult to call. Alex Lowry is going to be next on for Hearts, the on-loan Rangers midfielder. On the ball, Kingsley. Nieuwenhof from halfway, under pressure, plays the ball straight to Ndaba. In the midfield, Brad Lyons was getting plenty of warning shouts from the fans as he was almost caught in possession. In goes Boyce for Hearts, and it will be a free kick for his challenge on the substitute, Ndaba. Number 51 on the back of Lowry. Hearts not going to make the change quite yet as we edge our way towards 90 minutes. The free kick is midway inside the Kilmarnock half, almost on the touchline, left-hand side.
I think Nieuwenhof's struggling again. Sorry, Rob.
Sorry, Benny Beningame is being readied, isn't he? Down below us. So maybe that's the decision to delay the change, because it could well be two changes now. What a player Benny Beningame was initially for Hearts, then that long injury absence. Hearts delighted to have him back.
Tremendous player. Always takes the ball, even under pressure, uses his body really, really well. That was a great signing from Everton. They got him in, who actually spoke to a guy we were speaking about earlier on. Spoke to Duncan Ferguson about him, and he said yes, take him. That's a no-brainer.
There must have been lots of interest in him, Lee. The way he was playing. I
think there was a couple of clubs down south want him from Everton. The club managed to do it, and then there was a lot of people talking about him until he got that horrendous injury, the cruciate. I think he's out for well over a year with that, so it's really, really good to see him coming back on the pitch and getting a little bit of form back.
So it is the end of the match for Caleb Nieuwenhof, and that's a straight swap in the middle of the pitch. On comes Benny Beningame, and on as well comes Alex Lowry, and Kenneth Vargas has gone off. 4 minutes to be added to the 90. Are we going to get a winner here? Lowry winning the ball in the midfield for Hearts. Couldn't quite get his pass through, otherwise there was a really promising looking counter-attack on. Now it's a fire, curling a ball forward, which Shanklin kills really well at the edge of the box. Liam Boyce gets a second bite, heading for the byline, now cuts it back. Lowry shapes a shot and scores! Alex Lowry for Hearts in stoppage time at the end of this League Cup quarter-final. Might just have won it for the Tynecastle team. Shanklin tried, Boyce tried, the ball rolled for Lowry, and a moment of skill and composure, and he just shaped a shot into the bottom corner. 2-1 Hearts.
Got to say, Rob, maybe a little bit fortunate build up, great play. Shanks over to Boyce. Boyce does the Boyce chop, let's say, sells the defender a dummy, cuts it back. Alec Lowry, tremendous composure there, and finds the corner, beats the goalkeeper. There was actually somebody on the line trying to clear it, and it's a tremendous finish to the game. And what a substitution. I think Stephen Naismith's not had many positive things said about him recently, but you've got to give him a little bit of credit by saying what a substitute that was, Stephen.
Yeah, listen, that was a fantastic goal. Alex Lowry, he's dragged back, he's finished. As you say, there's a man right on the post, so if that's not right in the corner, he clears it. Fantastic individual play from him. And a brilliant substitution from Stephen Naismith.
Anyone who didn't fancy extra time has their wish granted. Smart Alex, he certainly was, Lowry, and you wouldn't want for any more composure than that. Kilmarnock now making a couple of late changes. They have to throw everything at trying to come back at Hearts. In as Cameron has come on. But time is very quickly slipping away here. Andy Dallas is on for Killie as well. So plenty of strikers on the pitch late on, but they need the ball and they need to create something, and they need to do it really quickly, because that looks like perfect timing from the substitute Alex Lowry. And what a finish, what a way to win a cup tie. That was full of quality and full of composure. Hearts get the ball up the pitch and they will look to just keep it where they have it. The ball goes out of Stuart Findlay. There'll not be any great rush to take the throw in. They are almost there, Hearts, for one massive result that they so desperately wanted.
And probably needed, to be brutally honest. I know the game's not finished yet, but if it finishes this way, that'll be a big sigh of relief, probably for everybody at Tynecastle. And I think overall, yes, Kilmarnock's had their chances, but that's what you get when you've got the quality at the top end of the pitch. That's what you get when you've got quality on the bench as well to come off. There's been a lot of changes in this game.
Is there going to be a chance for Kilmarnock to scramble their way back into this? They are almost out of time. The ball hooked away by the substitute, Ofaya. Boyce controls it on the right side, and he does really well to win a throw-in as well. And Hearts can see the finishing line just as it looked as if this match was heading for extra time and maybe penalties as well. It's a moment of magic from the 20-year-old Alex Lowry.
Yeah, for me, he's a brilliant player. Every time I've seen him, he's got flashes of magic. He's had a tough time of it over the last year, but that was a moment of individual brilliance from Alex Lowry there, and a fantastic finish at the end of it. So yeah, fully deserving of winning the game with that goal.
The Hearts fans will take the final whistle anytime Stephen McLean fancies. They were ahead when George Grant scored. It was cancelled out by Brad Lyon's header. It was difficult to call at that stage, but what a goal to surely win it, unless something pretty dramatic happens in a matter of seconds. Forward goes McGuinness for Kilmarnock, but he stumbles at a crucial moment, and Hearts are able to get it away again. There goes the final whistle, and there is one big shot in the arm for Stephen Naismith. All sorts of questions being asked about the Hearts management team on the back of a grim run of results. They had lost 5 of their last 6 games. They couldn't afford to lose this one, and they have come out on top right at the death, and they will take their place in the Viaplay Cup semi-finals. They were ahead in the first half, 5 minutes away from the interval through George Grant, his first start of the season, his first goal of the season. That was cancelled out second half when a deflected Kennedy cross was headed in by Brad Lyons. That was 1-1, and that's the way it stayed heading into stoppage time. But I think we can call it a managerial masterstroke as Naismith called on loan Rangers midfielder Alex Lowry to do his stuff late on, and boy did he do his stuff as this game headed towards its conclusion in terms of regulation time. There was a chance for Shankland at the edge of the box which he couldn't take. Then it was Liam Boyce who looked as if he might convert, The ball ran the way of Hearts number 51, and he took one touch to control it and another to caress the ball with the inside of his right boot. There was a Kilmarnock player on the line, on the post. Somehow he managed to bend it round the defender and find the bottom corner and find the goal that wins Hearts the game. They are heading to Hampden after a dramatic conclusion to this first of the Viaplay Cup quarter-finals. Final score at Rugby Park: Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 2.